When it comes to the people here, they're certainly no fans of the Trudeau Liberal Party, but when I ask them the question, what do you make of our champions in the official opposition, it's not a resounding optimism. What's your take on the federal Conservative Party and their performance throughout this crisis? Well, I'm with the leader of the People's Party of Canada, Maxime Bernier, and wow, Maxime, it's been quite a change in the world since I was in Quebec at your campaign headquarters on that fateful night in October. What is your assessment of how the Trudeau Liberals have handled their reaction in terms of shutting down the economy of Canada due to the Wuhan virus?
First of all, it is a huge disaster, and they use that pretext to impose the Liberals' socialist philosophy and to also try to spend money that we don't have to buy votes. So that's a huge pretext. And you know, people are here today and they're celebrating, and I will celebrate with them. I think that's important to say to Canadians that we must be proud. We must be proud to be Canadians, and we must say to our fellow citizens that there's no systemic racism in this country. So that will be part of my speech today, but that's a disaster what the Trudeau government is doing to this country.
Do you think, Mr. Bernier, that there's a saying in politics, never let a good crisis go to waste? And we've seen infringements on our constitutional rights. We've seen important legislation like the gun grab passed by an order of council, not even debated in Parliament. It's almost as though the Trudeau Liberals got a little taste of totalitarian power, and they like that taste.
I think he likes that taste, because remember, he said that he likes the dictatorial Communist Party of China. So, and he said also that Canada is the first post-national nation. And today we are telling him that that's not true. We're a real country with a real nation, and we believe in who we are. But what Trudeau is doing is using that fake crisis to impose his dictatorship on our country. And I'm using that term like the example, the ban on guns. That was not a legislation from the Parliament. That was passed by order in council, like you just said, and without any debates. So we don't like that as Canadian. It's not part of our culture. And also, not only that, is foreign policy, mostly concerning China. It's not working for our own interests as Canadians. And, you know, is all in the same bed with the World Health Organization. So, you know, we said, we at the People's Party, that we must fight for Canadians and put our country first, and that's not what Trudeau is doing.
Mr. Bernier, when we criticize China, when we criticize the World Health Organization, there are certain people in certain quarters that will cry racism due to that criticism. What do you make of that kind of narrative?
First of all, I think people must not be ashamed of who they are, and they must speak, because they try to cancel everybody, they try to deplatform everybody. When I'm saying they, the radical leftists, and we must be out and loud and proud, and like in our national anthem, strong and free. We are strong and free, and we must be out there to fight against that narrative.
And sir, when it comes to the people here, they're certainly no fans of the Trudeau Liberal Party, but when I ask them the question, what do you make of our champions in the official opposition, it's not a resounding optimism. What's your take on the federal Conservative Party and their performance throughout this crisis?
But first of all, the first thing that Scheer did, he said okay to just postpone the government, and he said yes, you can have dictatorship power for the next 6 months, and that's not a real opposition. And up to now, you're listening to O'Toole or McKay that want to be leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. That's the same old policies. They don't have any conviction. They don't know what they believe in. They just try to be there to be in power without telling people what needs to be done in this country. And that's important. So I'm very disappointed. That's why I said the Conservative Party of Canada is intellectually and morally corrupt, and we have more proof of that right now.
And Ms. Bernier, there's all kinds of rumors that there might be an election as early as this fall, and if you can believe the polls, Justin Trudeau is actually trending higher. What do you make of this, and what are your predictions moving forward?
But as the leader of the PPC, we must be ready for an election this fall. That will be very difficult. I prefer if we have an election a little bit later. That will give us more time to have a candidate in every riding. But that being said, personally, I don't believe that we'll have an election this fall because the Trudeau government will have always the support of the Bloc Québécois coming from Quebec and also the NDP. As you know, the NDP they're bankrupt right now. So I think he will be able to govern with the support of these two socialist parties.
Well, Ms. Bernier,
that's not good for the country.
No. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. You always give us time. You're always generous that way. What do you make of the fact that the front runner for the Conservative leadership, Peter MacKay, he always runs away from people like me and my colleague Ian Bexley? Why does he do that?
You know, I really don't know because you're a real media. And you know, as a politician, you want to be able to communicate with all Canadians, and that's why I'm speaking also with the CBC. I'm speaking with everybody. My goal is to have more support, and I don't understand why they don't speak with the rebel media. They must.
Well, Ms. Bernier, it's always
at the end, it's good for me.
That is true. Always a pleasure, sir.
Merci. Thank you
so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lots of fans here. If you can, please go to journalistdefensefund.com. journalistdefensefund.com. You know we love to bring you the other side of the story, but there are forces afoot that don't want that to happen, and we need security sometimes.